G'day everyone, welcome to the Bothy. I'm Chris. Doing an outside broadcast tonight on the steps of the Bothy. For those of you that don't think the Bothy is real, here we are. It's right behind me. And it's just in front of the paddocks over there. At the end of the paddocks. Today I went to the Australia Unites Against Government Corruption rally. And I did some recording there. It was very different to the March for Australia rally. And I did do a sign-off bit at the end to tell about the day. And then in the fairly lengthy drive home, I had to think about what I said, and I wasn't really happy with some of the stuff I said. So I thought I'd come and do a little bit of reflection tonight and just let you know my true thoughts. So the first thing I'll say is that this was a very different March to Australia. It didn't have the same vibe. It didn't have the same feeling of joy. The people there were a little more on edge. They certainly weren't prepared to talk like they were at the first one. And those that I did talk to couldn't really express why they were there. The second thing I would say is that it was great to have 4 knowledgeable speakers. The first speaker, I'm actually going to show all of the speeches except the first speaker's speech. I'll do a separate video for each of those speeches and you'll get to see what they said. I won't play the first speech because there were some things said in that speech that I just don't agree with and don't represent what we're about when it comes to hate speech and when it comes to violence. And they're just things that we can't support, for want of a better term. So I won't be playing that person's speech. What I would say is that there are parts of that speech that that person made said in front of people that must have been absolutely horrified at what that person was saying. And it's fair to say that just around me, and I was fairly close to the front, as you'll see in the footage, the area cleared out. Quite a few people left within about 10 minutes, 15 minutes of that speech starting. After that, the speeches got better. There was a farmer, there was an ex-politician, there was someone who's worked in the education department. There were some really good speeches and some really good messages. But what I would say about today's rally is that the focus wasn't on the points that were set out for the rally. It wasn't on, I didn't hear the social media banning mentioned at all. I didn't hear digital ID mentioned at all. Immigration and racism, immigration wasn't mentioned at all. Racism got a small run. The farmer's plight, even though a farmer got up and spoke, only got a small chat. And the cost of living didn't get brought up at all. And I think a lot of people got a little bit confused as to why they were there. And by the end of it, you could sense that it didn't feel Australia was united on this rally. And it might just be me, I might be wrong. And if you were there, you let me know what you thought, but it didn't feel to me like it was a united rally. Not that I've attended many of these in the past. The other thing I would say is that Victoria, Melbourne, is a basket case. It feels like a basket case. There were a number of rallies in there today, and most of them were hating on each other. And the rally I attended, the Australia Unites rally, ended up coming to a meeting point at the front of Parliament with what I'm imagining was a racism march, mainly on behalf of what happened to the Aboriginal encampment last week, which I think everybody agrees was not the right way to go about things and a terrible way to end what was a pretty good rally. And you could feel the hate, even to the point where we couldn't walk back to our cars the way we'd come because it was going to cause conflict. I don't know how Victoria is going to unite. Looking very briefly at what's happened in other states since I've got home, it looked like Sydney was pretty good. It looked like Queensland might have had some issues. But Melbourne, I don't know what is going to bring the community together down here. There seems to be a lot of hatred, a lot of division, and no real unity. I know there's some more marches coming up, but I don't know how. I would love to speak. If anybody knows anybody who either attended that anti-racism rally today or attends the pro-Palestine rallies and they would like to have a chat with us, we would love to get their point of view on a number of things, just so we can get a better understanding. I would love to go to a pro-Palestine rally just to get a better understanding, but I'm not sure how I'd go, especially when I first got to the rally today. It didn't feel safe. There were some people that had got through the police lines, for want of a better term, and were agitating, and I got picked on, I reckon, within the first 10 minutes of being there. I had 3 separate occasions, people coming up to me and having a crack at me, to the point where one of them I thought, right, this is going to be a punch on, and it wasn't, and that just put me on the back foot for a bit. But I would love to talk and have an adult, rational conversation with somebody who attends those rallies regularly and can put forward their point of view, as opposed to the point of view that they think we have, in a rational way. So sorry, I'm rabbiting on a bit, but at the end of the day, the rally today, there were some great things said. There were some things that I really support, especially around gender items and sexuality in kinders and in primary schools. A lot of today was on the back of the government taking to us through COVID, and how really today was a warning of what is coming in the future, that there'll be more pandemics or plandemics, as it was called today. And that's not really why I was there. I was there because we need to do something about cost of living. We need to do something about all the things that can be affected by this government today. Whereas today was really about ousting the government and replacing them with something else. Not quite sure what, because it wasn't really spelled out. Yeah, I just didn't walk away from that rally today feeling like I had just taken part in a United Australia or a United Australians rally. Anyway, interested to know what your thoughts were. If you were at one of the rallies, please let me know what you thought. And also interested to know whether you'll be attending these in the future. There's another March for Australia rally planned for the 19th of October, and then another rally, a bigger rally that they're hoping to get hundreds of thousands of people to on the 29th of November, which is about to get a massive push in the media. Let me know what you think, and please leave your comments. Thanks. See you later. We're at the Australia Unites Against Government Corruption March. There's already been a little bit of trouble, some people walking through the crowd that got in through the police barricade here and called us all losers and started screaming and swearing at us. Had a guy tell me that I'm the reason that Australia is losing so much land. I thought it was going to be a punch on, but thank goodness he walked away, because he would have beaten me up. Anyway, not to worry, we'll have a walk around and a chat to a few people, and we'll go from there. Okay, what brought you out today?
I think we really need to hold Australia to its values. Immigration is important, but mass immigration, I think, needs to have a stop to it, because honestly, this is not the Australia I grew up in. I'm an immigrant myself. I'm here with fellow Australians to, hold this government accountable for what they're doing to this beautiful country of ours. So,
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Portugal.
Right.
Yes, and it is really a beautiful country. But I am an Australian. Australia is my home.
If you could do one thing, or ask the government to do one thing, what would it be?
That's a tough question, and I honestly have no idea. Until you're in that position and you see what's actually, available to you, you need to make a decision. You either listen to the people or you listen to other politicians. What's it going to be?
It's a tough one to answer. Right, thanks very much for your time.
No worries.
Showed up, so it's unfortunate. Waiting a couple of hours after Saturday.
Okay, what brought you here today?
For example, the housing crisis, and not long ago we got a higher rent we need to pay now, so that's not really good. It's not that much, because the landlord, he is the right guy, but because he needs to pay more taxes, he also just gives it to us,
Passes it on.
Yeah, passes it on.
So if you could change one thing, what would it be? If you could be PM for a day?
I would educate the people, they are here already more, and don't bring other people more in. Leave the money in Australia, And at the end, what we also need to start doing, taxes the gas corporations.
Yes. Yeah,
But
I agree.
we are losing money there.
Yeah.
And they just try to get more and more out of us.
Yep.
And what's really disgusting for me is what I heard about the housing tax, the spare bedroom tax. That's
I hope that doesn't
what.
come in.
No, that's Why should it? You know, it's just too crazy to be true.
If we made the right amount of money off our resources, we wouldn't have any of these issues.
Exactly. And also, people would not need to pay for studying, you know?
Yeah, exactly right, like Finland.
Yeah, exactly.
What's with the sign?
Well,
I like the sign, I love the sign. Perfect. What made you do that? Because you're right.
Came up in my mind.
Yeah, perfect.
And as I said earlier, so we're going to go through the speakers now. So thank you very much for being patient. It's one of the things we need, humanity, be it a patience, because this is going to be one final push, but one long, sustained push, and we will not relent, will we? No! It's going to take everything you have. I know a lot of you are tired. I know a lot of you have been campaigning. There's some people here that are just starting to be aware just recently, and bless you. And more and more and more are becoming aware all the time. So we have to dig deep from somewhere and get our second win, and prepare yourself mentally to back up week after week after week. That's what's required. Because as I said earlier, we are attempting to achieve something in this country that has never been achieved before. So that requires all of us to do things we've never done before. And you all are, but there's more to do.
My message to you and to all Australians, over the next series of months, you are going to be led into a dead-end street by people that are going to be speaking policy and politics and say, vote for me at the next election and I'll fix this.
Bullshit!
I call bullshit! There is no fixing this in this house behind me or the one in Canberra. The time for politics and policy is over. This is not about race, religion, flags or individual issues that we have, because there are hundreds of them. And I could ask 100 different people around this country what's their major problem, and there'd be 100 different answers.
Government!
Okay, there is only one problem, and that is a foreign government that is committing war crimes and crimes against humanity against good Australian people.
I wrote to Scott Morrison, Greg Hunt, and the Chief Health Minister at the beginning of 2020 on behalf of a large number of doctors. We said, we don't need to have lockdowns. Do you want to have more lockdowns? Do you want to have more masking? Do you want to have more social distancing? Do you want to be held down and injected against your will? Well, that is what is going to happen if we stay with the World Health Organization. We have an agreement with the World Health Organization now. We pay them $300 million plus a year, unelected bureaucrats, to tell our bureaucrats here what to do when there is an infectious disease occurring in our country. We have lost our sovereign rights to our own individual right and responsibility to take a medicine if we want to.
I first started becoming involved in politics when I was early 20s. 40 years I've been involved in this now. And we started to get involved when we saw banks illegally foreclosing on farmers and sending them bankrupt. This has been happening for a long, long time. It's been built for a long, long time. And for many of us who have been in this game for decades, it is good now to see finally the Australian people are waking up. Absolutely. So a lot of people, their awakening moment was the start of the fraud and the attack on the world's people, known as the start of COVID-19. That was an absolute military operation. You heard Dr. Ian Brighthope just speaking there before. I've had many conversations with Ian, with his team from AMPS, with his team from World of Wellness, and now we have doctors from all over the world are calling this for what it is. It was an attack. It was lies. The so-called COVID-19 vaccine was a biological weapon.
Craig, thank you so much for organising today to begin with, because what a crowd! What a crowd! It is sensational. I'm not going to keep you here much longer anyway. But I just want to mention a bloke who left us during the week. A bloke called Charlie Kirk. A man who stood up for what was right. He stood up to those who would do us harm. And they took his life. Now I'm hopeful that none of us will have to suffer that fate. But what we do need to do is to use Charlie Kirk as an inspiration. To remember him and to hold him up as somebody that we can follow.